Welcome back to the Global Dynasty YouTube channel. This is a platform for today's society to stay current with celebrity, entertainment, pop culture, and news. This video is meant for entertainment purposes only, and without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Well, if you haven't guessed already, today we'll be talking about the Kardashians on Hulu, Season 2, Episode 1, I Have Something to Tell You. Of course, the opening scene's a bit dramatic with Khloe and Kim, and they're having a discussion, and Kim lets Khloe know that it's time to talk about it. So as a viewer, of course, we already know what it is because we've seen it play out on social media. Khloe finally opens up about Tristan having a baby with Marilee Nichols. This will be the first time that we actually get to see Khloe's side, and honestly, you can tell she's very broken and emotionally distraught. Like, I know that she's been through this situation a numerous of times before with Tristan, but this time I think that you can really tell it's taking a toll on her. She actually discussed how no one knows, and I know for her this has to be very embarrassing, and she has to explain this to her family yet again. And she let Kim know that the pregnancy with Tristan, the embryo transfer happened a few days before the actual news came out about Tristan having another baby with someone else. So it's a lot to unpack. In the next scene, Khloe is having a conversation with Kylie, and we get a little more insight in the timeline of when the embryo transfer took place, from when Tristan actually knew up until when Khloe actually found out. So the embryo transfer took place days after Thanksgiving 2021, and Khloe found out the first week of December 2021 that Tristan was having another baby with Marilee. And Tristan actually knew about this entire situation back in July 2021. So he had the information in July, wanted to proceed with having a baby with Khloe, but didn't tell her that he was having another baby until December. So Khloe actually didn't know anything. And she, I'm assuming, found out when we found out, which is very embarrassing. And this is also not a situation that she's not familiar with. So we have to take it back when the girls were still on E! With Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Khloe first brought this narrative of wanting to have another baby with Tristan, and she discussed it with him on the show, but they weren't together at the time, or at least that's what they told us. And there was also a break from when they actually premiered on Hulu, and I think within that break is when they had to have gotten back together, and when he was going to move in with Khloe and True in their house that they were working on. So you know how Khloe is right beside Chris. Tristan was originally in those plans, but then she found out about his other baby. And so Kylie actually says something that made me go, huh? Because she said that what Tristan did is unforgivable. She says this in her confessional, and when I heard her say that, the first thing I said was, well, what about the other stuff in the past? Was that forgivable? If so, then is what Jordan, her part in that situation, is that forgivable? Because I think the family also has to be accountable in this situation. They were all so willing to take him back in, and I think it was just to make Khloe happy. But sometimes the family has to stop walking on eggshells when it comes to Khloe, and they have to be real with her. I don't understand why not one person in her family made her reconsider taking him back after he cheated on her while she was pregnant in her third trimester, causing her to have the baby early, after he cheated with her little sister's best friend, after he just cheated in general, because he cheats and that's what he does. So I have to take a step back and kind of side-eye the whole family and say, let's start keeping it real. Let's also remember that Khloe has always been vocal about her family and their actions and what they do, even in the past, especially the beginning of Scott and Kourtney's relationship. She always voiced her opinion on how he was trash and how Kourtney could do so much better. She even also voiced her opinion when it came to Kris Humphries and Kim. And recently, she's voiced her opinion about Kanye. So it's just like, Khloe can say so much about you all, but when it comes to Khloe, we have to be careful of what we say. No, I need the family to start stepping up. Let's start being for real with her. But I also need us as viewers to not judge so harshly when it comes to her in this situation. Because let's be honest, we've all been Khloe, or we either have a friend that is Khloe. So the only difference in this situation is because of who she is and us being able to see it being played out. That's the only difference. So Kim decides to host a family meeting, and Kris, Kylie, and Kendall are in attendance. At this point throughout the episode, I'm wondering where Kourtney is and why she hasn't appeared yet, or why she is not at this family meeting. And so they come together to discuss how they can help Khloe throughout this difficult time. Kris is worried. Kendall doesn't understand why Tristan would choose to go through the whole process knowing that he was expecting a child. I'm glad we have somebody that's questioning, even though this would be a perfect conversation for Khloe to be in on so she can hear these things. So eventually they come up with the idea of doing a baby shower. So Kris is going to throw a private baby shower for Khloe, just close friends and family at this time, because right now Khloe is going through. So we finally get to see a familiar face. Malika stops by to check in on Khloe, and True is showing her excitement for her new baby brother. And Malika's a little shocked because she didn't expect True to already know about the baby on the way. And so Khloe starts talking about how she wants to protect her surrogate through this time, and she wants to keep things private because she's very apprehensive about the public backlash, which I hate seeing Khloe like this because she's a very confident person in everything that she does, and just to see how much of her confidence goes away when she's in these type of situations is very sad to be a viewer, honestly. And she also goes into detail about how she doesn't want her children to have daddy issues. And so Malika gives her that peace of mind, letting her know, like, you still deserve your happy ending, and that is something that can still happen for you, which I, as a viewer, I do believe, and I want Khloe to have her happy ending. But I would like for her to move on from Tristan, because there's no happy ending there. And I think if she keeps repeating the cycle, she's just going to keep getting the same outcome when it comes to him in this situation. So I am hoping for a positive future for Khloe because she deserves it. So can we talk about how funny the scene with Kris and Khloe meeting at the forgotten condo in Beverly Hills? How are you that rich that you forget you have a whole condo? I aspire to be that rich and have those type of problems. But throughout the conversation, Kris gets emotional because y'all know Kris gonna cry. Wherever she at, she gonna cry. She just doesn't want Khloe to not enjoy this moment of bringing her son in, because despite the drama with Tristan, you're welcoming a baby, and that is still something that you should be happy about. And Khloe explains to her about why she doesn't feel that connected to the arrival of her son in this situation. And it's just because she's not carrying the child. And it kind of resembles the situation when Kim first got a surrogate, when the surrogate was carrying Chicago. Kim kind of had the same disconnect up until the day that the child was born. So I think that the closer that comes for Khloe, then she'll start to show her excitement and know that, you know, her son is coming. And so we also get an appearance from cousin Cece. She lives in the same building, and Khloe gets to finally tell her about the new baby as well. And Cece's reaction, of course, is loving throughout anything. She doesn't question the drama that's going on with Tristan. She talks about the happy moment, which I'm glad that she still has that support from her family, and doesn't have to be bombarded with the drama all the time. And she also says that she thought that her and Tristan were good after the cheating, whatever that means. And she's also very scared for when this information becomes public about the other baby with Marilee Nichols. So prior to the baby shower, Chloe has a discussion with Kim, and Kim wants to know if she's put any thought about the delivery room process and who she's going to have in the room. And she's just wanting to know if Tristan will actually be present. And Chloe's kind of hesitant, which I'm shocked because she allowed him to be in the room on her first pregnancy with True. And that was right after she found out that he was cheating. And so Kim actually tells her that she thinks Tristan should be in the room with Chloe for the baby. And I agree. I think that if he was present for True, he should be present for their son as well. It would be good to have for memory for the child to know, like, my father was there. And so I think that she's going to put in some thought about whether or not she wants him there. So the day of the baby shower comes, and it's beautiful. It's a lion-themed baby shower, and it's very intimate. It's family only, and Courtney finally arrives with Travis. And I thought it was weird that Kendall and Kylie were missing, because back on the days of Keeping Up, Chris made sure everyone showed up to all of the important events because she has everyone's schedule. So the fact that they weren't there for her baby shower and it was supposed to be for family, it's getting choppy. It's taken away from their brand. Family is their brand. And I miss those moments where they used to have their family dinners. I mean, before the chefs started cooking, I remember when Chris used to throw down in the kitchen and all the family was there. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and I just wish they would get back onto their brand. And so at the end of the day, Chloe ended up being happy that her mom forced her to have a baby shower. And some of the names that they were discussing, 10, Tupac, Tiger, I was like, come on, y'all. Stop it with these ridiculous names. But I'm pretty interested. I feel like Tide would be a good name, but it's not my baby. So the surrogate goes into labor and the baby has arrived. Chloe's son is finally here, and we get to see scenes from the hospital of Chloe giving skin to skin to her newborn, and she feels like this birth was the end of all the trauma. And I hope so, because you have your son. There shouldn't be any other connection to Tristan outside of co-parenting. So I hope that they have a healthy co-parenting relationship. But as far as their relationship, I hope she doesn't check back into that situation. And she shows off the baby on FaceTime to the other family members. Kim is the only family member that was inside of the hospital. So I love seeing Chloe and Kim develop a stronger relationship in their older years. It's very refreshing to see, because we all know Chloe and Kim used to get into it all the time. And it's good to see them on the best part of their lives together. So, what do you guys think of the first episode of season 2 of the Kardashians on Hulu? Are we loving it? Are we liking it? Is it blah? Is it bland? I will say that this season premiere was way better than the first premiere. I'm glad they didn't spend 30 minutes on drone shots of everyone in their house, because we could have dealt without that. I'm glad that we're getting less about Kanye, because that was all that first season was about Kanye. So I'm hoping that this is the end of the Chloe trauma, because they spent the whole episode talking about it. I hope that we get more of Kim and Pete, more Kravis, maybe even more Chris and Corey. I know that Kylie is going to continue to give us the bare minimum, and Kendall gives us minimum. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Until next time.